Have some new news and details surrounding around Oshae Brissett. As we all know, he declined his player option going into this season with the Celtics, and he's been looking for a spot. Well, teams have been reaching out to him from Europe, specifically Real Madrid, looking for a replacement in Gershon Yabusele. So will a player in Oshae Brissett go the route and go play in Europe, or will he explore his options in the NBA? We're going to be discussing and diving into all of that and more on this episode of Celtics Digest. I'm Bruce Velez. And you guys have been absolutely fantastic, showing your love and support over on the channel, and we really do appreciate it, Godfrey and I, leading up to the season. As we all know, the Celtics do tip off on Friday, where they will be taking on the Nuggets in Abu Dhabi, and we will be live watching that game, breaking it all down, also having a post-game video. So if you want to make sure you stay up to date on everything, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button to stay tuned for all of that. But without further ado, let's get into the video at hand. Make sure to grab a snack, and let's dive into the news, as we're going to be talking about one of my favorite players on the Boston Celtics last season, in Oshae Brissett. Now, Oshae Brissett was brought in on the Celtics team on a 2-year deal last season with a player option in his second year. Now, Brissett, at the beginning of the year, was fighting for a role alongside Lamar Stevens as that backup wing, and seemingly narrowly edged him out through the regular season by being a better offensive rebounder and being a little bit more aggressive on the boards than a player in Lamar Stevenson. Oshae was then set to stay at the trade deadline where Stevens was sent out, and Brissett actually got some minutes throughout the regular season and throughout the playoffs, specifically Game 2 in the Eastern Conference Finals, where he dominated coming off the bench versus that Indiana team and getting a plus 16 off the bench. Really being that hard-nosed rebounder, coming in playing that clutch defense against that fast-paced Indiana squad, and was a nice addition to have with this team. Well, unfortunately for Brissett, after winning the championship, he declined his player option and is now exploring some other options, as with the new CBA, it's been a little difficult for him to bounce back. So let's dive in and let's look at the news surrounding Oshae Brissett. In this article, we're going to be looking at the latest on who Oshae Brissett's drawing interest from, courtesy of Bobby Krivitsky of Sports Illustrated. Now, Bobby Krivitsky does a fantastic job going into detail. We have some snippets from his article that we are going to share with you guys here. So let's dive into this. First, as we all know, after declining his $2.5 million player option this summer, seeking for a more of a role elsewhere than it had with Boston's Stay Ready group, Brissett remains in search of his next professional home as training camp is officially underway and teams are working out teams. And this is not just the case for Oshae Brissett. There's a bunch of players in the league that should be in the league this year that have not had a role with the new CBA. Similarly, another player, Markelle Fultz. According to DefenseCentral.com, Real Madrid may also pursue the 6 foot. Oh, sorry. Recent reports indicate that Sreva Sevzizda, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, is showing interest in signing the 26-year-old forward. The list of former and current NBA players to suit up for them include Shabazz Napier, Facundo Campazzo, Duop Reith, and Nikola Topic. Now, getting into the next part where I kind of overjump myself. According to Defensa Central, Real Madrid may also pursue the 6'7" wing, as the club lost Gershon Yabusele to the 76ers after his impressive performance in the Olympics. Real Madrid reportedly wants to address Yabusele's departure within the next few weeks, intending to move quickly since their season is already underway. Now, if we want to look at Oshae Brissett's stats from last season, we can see that he averaged around 3.7 points, 3 rebounds, almost an assist on 44% shooting from the field and 27% shooting from 3. Now, Oshae might not be a 3-point specialist, offensive specialist per se, but he is definitely a utility type of player to have and use. He can be thrown in a bunch of situations. He can guard basically 2 through 5 on the perimeter or in the paint. He can be used as a small ball 5, as a dunker, being a lob threat, and utilizing crashing the offensive and defensive boards, and being a shot blocker and rim protector for a team. I think he brings a lot of solid qualities for any NBA bench, and I think there are an abundance of teams that could be contending, or teams that could just use his necessities off the bench. We've dived into that in a bunch of other videos. We've talked about teams like the Suns, teams like the Timberwolves, teams like the Raptors, teams like the Grizzlies, who could use a player like Oshae Brissett to utilize their bench. But unfortunately, he just hasn't had that luck. So now some clubs in Europe are looking to out and bring him in. Like we were discussing, let's look back at some of those clubs and kind of get back into this. Cervina Cerveza, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, but they had NBA players like Shabazz Napier, Facundo Campazzo, Duop Reith, and Nikola Topic. And Nikola Topic and excuse me, Nikola Topic and Duop Reith are kind of newer. Duop Reith obviously coming into the league in the last year, coming in with the Blazers, and obviously in a player in Nikola Topic being drafted this year by the Oklahoma City Thunder, even though he's obviously not going to be playing this year. It's just cool to see that. So even if Oshae Brissett were to go to one of these clubs, were to play overseas, he could bounce back and use that to get back over to the NBA next season when there's more money available, more money of it on the table in free agency. But if not, if he doesn't want to go there, he could also go to Real Madrid and go fill in for ex-Boston Celtic and now Philadelphia 76er, Gershon Yabusele, the Dancing Bear, because Real Madrid could use that size, could use that interior defense that Brissett could bring. And like Bobby was saying, they are already in the start of their season. So in the next couple of weeks, they're looking to fill out that roster spot so they have a full roster to compete over in Europe in basketball. So I think if Brissett were to make one of these two decisions, it's obviously going to be a great decision for him. He still gets to play basketball. That's his dream. That's his passion. That's what he wants to do. So he doesn't have to give up on that. Yes, it is out of the NBA. Yes, it is in Europe, but I don't see that happening for long because he is an NBA champion. He did look really solid with this Boston Celtics team, and I think could bring that type of hard-nosed defender and rebounder knack to a kind of young rebuilding team or even a championship contending team similar to the Boston Celtics, where he can be utilized as one of those depth pieces off the bench if you have some injuries and can definitely be thrown in there to bring some offensive spark to your team. I really like Brissett. I have since Syracuse, and I'm wishing him nothing but the best of luck. I wish he could be on an NBA roster, and I think there's plenty of teams that would be willing to take on Oshae Brissett's contract. Plenty of teams that would like to see his development. Plenty of teams that do believe in Oshae Brissett. But unfortunately, with the new CBA, with the new restrictions, with how everything is set up, it's just very, very difficult for a player like Oshae Brissett to get a guaranteed deal unless it's a veteran minimum contract. And unfortunately for Brissett, he declined that player option with the Celtics, hoping to get that bigger contract, hoping to get that playing time, similar to guys like Xavier Tillman, similar to guys to like Luke Cornett. But unfortunately, he did not get called back. He did not capitalize on his opportunity right away. And since he was looking for some other jobs, it just never really fell back in with the Boston Celtics. Now, like I said, I wish Oshae nothing but the best of luck. I really want to see him revitalize his career, kind of bounce back because he was nice on this Celtics squad. And if the Celtics are going to lose anybody on this team in Oshae Brissett and Steve Mihailuk, I definitely want them to be able to play basketball again. So let me know what you guys think down below. Do you guys think Oshae Brissett would fit in with Europe? Do you think he thinks he should stay in the NBA? What are your overall thoughts on Oshae Brissett? Do you guys like him? Do you guys dislike him? Do you think he'd be replaceable? What are your guys' thoughts? I'd love to read all your comments down below in the description. You guys have been absolutely fantastic throughout this entire offseason. And like I said, the offseason is almost coming to an end. We're less than a month till season starts. Preseason starts on Friday, and like I said, we will be live on Celtics Digest with all of that, breaking it down, going over the preseason game, then a post-game video after talking about it. We'll have it all covered for you. So if you want to make sure you stay up to date on everything, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You guys are absolutely killing it over here. I'm Bruce Velez. Have a great rest of your day, and go Boston Celtics, baby.